Gokenin. Gokenin is made of 3 kanji, the first being go, which is an honorific prefix. Then ke means home, homes, house, houses, both literally and figuratively, as in the house of some family name, or family or families, which granted those two are very similar, and the final one being nin, which means person or people. The term is usually translated into English as houseman or housemen, meaning someone that served a specific person or house or family. This was a term used for the direct retainers of the shōgun in the Kamakura Period, Muromachi Period, and Edo Period, although there were some changes along the way. The earliest extant written usage in this way dates from the 1190s, although I am not sure if there is a known exact year. In 1192, Minamoto no Yoritomo became shogun, so it either dates to after he became shogun or shortly before. Also, just because that is the earliest written account we still have, does not mean it was not used earlier. We just can't say. In the Kamakura period, they were, on paper, the direct retainers of the shogun, but as the Hojo regions gained power over the Bakufu, Gokenin became more like direct retainers of the Bakufu in practice rather than the direct retainers of the shogun himself personally. During peacetime, they were responsible for collecting taxes, keeping the peace, and dealing with criminals in their territories, as well as guard duty in Kyoto and Kamakura. In times of war, the Gokenin were expected to muster and mobilize their forces. In exchange for these services, the Gokenin had privileges and were eligible for positions in the Bakufu not open to non-Gokenin, as well as their lands were supposed to be guaranteed, secured, and have protection, among other things. This last bit about the land became more complex as Gokenin increasingly had land and land right disputes with each other, as well as others, sometimes leading to violence, but especially legal lawsuits among them, which is a more complicated topic, but sometimes it was hard for the Bakufu to actually guarantee and protect land and land right claims. There is a kind of joke among people who study Japanese history that samurai in the Kamakura period may have been the most litigious people in pre-modern history. In the Muromachi period, the Gokenin for the shogun and Bakufu continued to exist and were theoretically fairly similar to as in the Kamakura period, however there were changes. To begin with, as local warriors and warlords gained more power over the course of the warfare of the 14th century, being a Gokenin to the shogun or Bakufu lost a lot of its value outside of perhaps some degree of prestige and legitimacy. Now, a number of local warlords did come from Gokenin families, as their position as Gokenin in the Kamakura period had positioned them as sort of local strongmen. Also in the Muromachi period, there starts to be records of the term Gokenin being used to refer to samurai who were the direct retainers of warlords other than the shogun. This was not necessarily universal, but this use did exist. In addition, I'm not sure if this occurred in the Muromachi period, or if this use dates to earlier but increased in the Muromachi period. During the Edo period, the Gokenin of the shogun were the lowest rank of those who were considered to be the shogun's direct retainers. They tended to fill low-level positions within the Bakufu, or low positions, or act as servants in running the shogun's household. I hope that gives a basic idea of what Gokenin means. If you have made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you found it useful and like my work, please join me for the next video. Otsukaresama deshita.